From a way to level up brawlers insanely fast to a hidden gem exploit, these are 192 Brawl Stars facts Supercell doesn't want you to know.
Barry's super can be so annoying, but did you know Bull can completely counter it with his super? If Barry comes rushing at you with his spinning super, just activate Bull's super and charge right into him. You'll knock him out of his spin and stop him immediately. Just another reason why nobody should use this abomination of a brawler. If you get bored while playing Brawl Stars, then there's one thing you could do that will save the world, and here's how you're going to do it. Go load up Brawl Talk, get frustrated by Branks' bald head blinding you, then learn how to be a Photoshop pro and just slap some hair onto Franks' head. Boom, problem solved. Phew. Finally, you can watch Brawl Talk in peace. Sorry, Frank.
Since Sphinx's release, it didn't take players too long to find a way to make him a total pain. If Sphinx uses his time-slowing super in Heist and an enemy Ems comes to attack, her attack gets slowed down, but here's the crazy part. While slowed down, her attack will deal enormous damage, literally obliterating the safe in just a few seconds. I personally think that Sphinx players should just rewind time to when they didn't exist. Random teammates can be dumb, we all know that, but they're nothing compared to this Griff who literally handed the enemy team a free goal. While trying to defend, he dropped his piggy bank right in front of the goal, thinking it would stop the enemies. But as Melody ran in with the ball and shot it as a last-ditch effort, the piggy bank exploded at the worst possible moment, destroying the wall and letting the ball roll straight in. The enemy team won, and all because of that. I mean, who even uses piggy bank anymore? This dude had one of the funniest moments ever in Brawl Stars. He was about to score using his super, but just as he shot the ball, the enemy Stu dashed in and stole it. But instead of shooting it away from his goal, he accidentally supered it straight back towards his own goal, where it bounced off the post, and then Mortis came in rushing to steal the goal at the last second. Yeah, Stu probably scored a goal with his phone after that one. Mandy might be completely broken with this strategy. Her super can fire almost across the entire map, so all you have to do is call a friend to scout the enemy locations. Also, make sure to position yourself in the center of the map. Using a clock system, your friend can call out enemy positions through voice chat, and you can aim and fire your super at those spots. If you get it right, you can wipe out every enemy without even seeing them. You can win Heist with Chuck only. All you need to do is strategically place his pulls around the map, leading straight to the enemy safe. Then, use his super to zip back and forth, attacking their safe while defending your own. Even if they manage to take you down, just pop your super and boom, you're back at their safe, ready to attack again. Edgar using the like pin is already rare, but you know what's even rarer? Multiple Edgars giving thumbs up in the same match. And that's exactly what happened in the solo showdown game. Plus, there was a kid also spamming the thumbs up pin. Yeah, it's all coming to an end. Colt literally used to be a master of flames with the eternal fire glitch. When Angel was introduced, one of their abilities threw additional fire rings with each attack, but some players found an exploit. Colt's bullets counted as separate attacks, meaning spamming shots would flood the entire map with fire rings. And to make things even worse, the bullets could bounce, causing so much chaos that it would actually crash players' phones. Safe to say, this glitch did not last long. Barry's hypercharge is insanely overpowered, but there's actually a trick to charge it quickly in Showdown. If you enter the zone, take some damage, then leave and heal up, you'll start charging both your super and hypercharge. Do this repeatedly, and you can have it ready before you even see an enemy. And if you coordinate this strategy with a friend, you can charge it even faster. Piper just got insanely good at Brawl Ball, thanks to her hypercharge. Now, when she activates it, she not only jumps, but also destroys obstacles and pushes enemies away. So, if you throw the ball toward the goal and then jump on it using her hypercharge, you'll literally clear the path and score a free goal. When Supercell introduced the pizza event in Brawl Stars, many players got excited thinking we'd finally get some OG skins, or maybe even a free brawler. However, when the event actually dropped and players rushed to claim the free reward, all they got was 2 bling. So, in the end, Supercell didn't give us a hype event, they just scammed us with bling. This bro might just be the best 4th player on the team. In one of the most unintentionally pro plays in Brawl hockey history, Sprout used his super to block the puck, except he placed the wall in the perfect position to bounce it straight into his own goal. So while the enemy team was sliding the puck forward, Sprout basically scored it for them. It's the most noob and pro moment ever at the exact same time. Sprouts with hypercharges might think that they're unstoppable against Cordelius, but think again. If you get pulled into Cordelius's dimension after deploying your hypercharged super, you'll notice something strange. It won't deal any damage to Cordelius inside the dimension, even though you can still see the wall. Uh-oh. Did you know you can make Carl's pickaxe disappear? If you've got a gray on your team, have him throw his teleport super on the ground. Then, right as Carl throws his pickaxe, go through the teleporter, and boom! The pickaxe vanishes into thin air. Guess his pickaxe teleported straight into Minecraft. From the moment quests were introduced in Brawl Stars, players had been dreaming about Ultra Quests, but Supercell has avoided the idea
area completely. These quests would appear at the start of each season and involve insanely tough challenges, like dealing 100 million damage with massive rewards like 100 gems. But let's be real, Supercell doesn't like when we work too hard, or maybe they just don't like giving away stuff for free. Kudos were added to the game to boost players' confidence and spread positivity, but instead they've almost turned into a way to sarcastically call someone a noob. Still, no matter what they mean, just imagine if you could track how many kudos you've given or received. Well, that's essentially what the community suggested, and honestly, if this feature didn't get rejected, I'd probably have a million kudos.
Balootic, you know that's not a good thing, right?
Shut up!
If you're playing Gray and you are facing an enemy in a better position, try the pull and teleport move. Use Gray's pull gadget and his super at the same time, and you'll teleport while pulling the enemy into the spot you just left, completely switching positions. This trick is super handy in Showdown, as you can pull the enemy straight into the poison zone. Come over here! Did you know you could trap enemies inside unbreakable walls? Back during the Angels vs Demons update, Gene players had a hilarious trick where he could use his super to pull enemies into a breakable tile surrounded by unbreakable walls. Once they were stuck, there was no escape. All you had to do was position yourself near that structure and time your pull just right. While this bug isn't around anymore, if Supercell messed up once, they might do it again. So keep this strategy just in case. Did you know Ash can score free bounty points for his team? To do this, equip his gadget that exchanges health for rage. If you're up against RT in a bounty match and he pings you, activate the gadget to effectively eliminate yourself. But here's the twist. RT doesn't get the bounty points for your death. Instead, your team gets them. Who would have thought self-destructing could actually help you win a match? Some brawlers can charge their super pretty easily, while others not so much. But the worst pain ever is when you dive into a dangerous fight, barely make it to cover, and realize your super is at 99% with just 1 HP left. And then only to get killed the second you try to finish charging it. Ugh. I bet you've been invited by a friend to Brawl Stars at their place and you were pretty excited about it, but then you realize they have the worst Wi-Fi ever. Every time you try to move or shoot, everything lags like crazy and you just end up getting killed. That's also the moment when you do El Primo jump on their Wi-Fi router, which probably explains why they blocked you forever. Do you know who the biggest enemy of Brawl Stars players is? Okay, Edgar players are pretty bad, but there's someone even worse. Players with troll names in Brawl Ball. They're usually tryhards, and when they score, you'll see the wildest names pop up like, haha, losers, I scored. And trust me, there are much worse names out there, and they'll definitely make you eat your phone for breakfast. Most players think Brawl Stars bugs only exist inside the game. I mean, that's pretty logical, right? But Supercell didn't quite follow that logic, because even their ads have bugs in them. And just to make it even worse, the ad looked like something out of a clickbaity cash grab game. Ironic. It showed brawlers with tons of trophies, but the season trophy box counter didn't match at all. On top of that, the icons for these counters were completely off their positions. At this point, we just have to admit, Brawl Stars is truly a bugged game. We've seen brawlers go invisible before, but did you know there's another way they can disappear? In some casual matches, brawlers randomly turn into white stripes that move in a strange way, creating a bizarre visual effect. What's even weirder is that there's never an event where brawlers could turn invisible like this. Yet these glitches make it seem like an actual feature. Could this mean Supercell once planned an invisible mode and then abandoned it? Who knows? If you ever wondered what an OG Brawl Stars bug looked like, well, here it is. This was the infamous move glitch, where players would get stuck on their spawn, completely unable to move. And just look how old this is. Even Brawl Stars itself was still in vertical mode. No matter the era, Supercell always finds a way to frustrate players with bugs. I don't know why no one's talking about Belle's grounded star power, because it's actually insane. When she marks an enemy with her attack, they lose the ability to reload for 5 whole seconds. To put that into perspective, if they've just spammed all of their ammo and you land your shot, they'll literally be standing there doing nothing for 5 seconds. That's an eternity in Brawl Stars. I mean, that star power's name is literally exactly what it says. So yeah, you should definitely be using it. If you're struggling with Grom, then you're not playing him right. So when you play certain maps with limited passages, just make sure to throw his attack in the center of the crossroad so that it guaranteedly damages the enemy instead of trying to follow the enemy's pattern. Frank's hyper is kind of scam. So if you're going against Frank who's about to use his hypercharged super, you can actually dodge his attack if you're standing in the right spot, even though his attack shows it's 360 attack. In reality, it's not, and you can dodge it. I guess Supercell really loves to prank Frank users the most. This buzz literally humiliated a teamer in the most brutal way possible. In a solo showdown match with 4 players left, all of them were teaming while Buzz was stuck in the center of the map. map. But just when they thought they had the upper hand, Buzz activated his hypercharge and dashed toward a wall right where El Primo was hiding. His stun actually stunned Primo through the wall, and Buzz kept spamming his super to keep him stunned long enough for the zone to finish him off. That's what you get for teaming.
Most players alternate between winning and losing non-stop, but what if you could do both at the same time? Well, it turns out this is actually possible, as when a player named Tomato753 noticed his trophy gains didn't match what he had earned, he checked his matches only to notice that while he was queued into a game that he won, his account had also been queued into a second game, with a bot taking his place. Not only that, but you can see the games are only 6 seconds apart, proving that he managed to be in 2 places at once. If I had this superpower, you would never see me at school. Well, you would, it just wouldn't be me? How does this make any sense? Supercell pulled one of the biggest pranks on the entire Brawl Stars community with their evil April Fool's joke. They teased a meme skin called Egg Pam, which was literally just Pam shaped like an egg, and it instantly went viral online. Players thought Supercell was showing some love to the meme side of the community with this hilarious idea, but it turned out to just be an April Fool's announcement. However, rumor has it that they actually made the skin for fun, and there are probably files of it hidden somewhere in the game. Spike used to look absolutely goofy. If you check out his old concept art, there were versions of him with eyes and even a nose. But luckily, Supercell made the right call by going with the eyeless design we have today. Besides Shelly having her chicken friend scrapped, she's also the only brawler which got her winning animation rejected by Brawl Stars. In it, she essentially pumps up her shotgun and she just stands there. Yeah, I could see why they decided to remove it. Because if it was supposed to be a victory animation, well, that's certainly not how you celebrate.
Do you want free max rank on your brawler? Well, all you need are your friends and the perfect trio, Colt, Gale, and Sam. As soon as the enemy team leaves their spawn, Gale places his jump pad, launching all 3 of you toward the ball. Once you land, Colt breaks the wall in front of the goal, and Sam uses his super to shoot the ball straight in. It's basically a cheat code. Speaking of Brawl Ball, when playing Chuck, make sure you place all your poles before it hits overtime. Then, when you get your super, shoot the ball from midfield and use Chuck's gadget to instantly refill your super and drive yourself straight to the goal. And now you're basically playing Rocket League. Invisibility used to be just for Leon, but now everybody has it. Okay, not really, but you can make the ultimate invisibility trio by selecting Juju, Kit, and Lily. In Knockout, activate their invisibility gadgets at the same time. Then rush to the middle while enemies think you're still at the spawn and reappear right in front of them. This is totally going to catch them off guard and probably cause a heart attack. I made all my enemies quit Brawl Stars with this strategy. To pull this off, you'll need Brock, Willow, and Gale. First, get 1 or 2 kills. Then use Brock's super, but cancel it right after the first rocket launches using his jump gadget. Next, have Gale place his jump pad leading to the trap, and then to force the enemies onto it, use Gale's super to push and stun them, and also use Willow's mind control to guide them onto the pad against their will. And just like that, your enemies are trapped. Well, unless they find a way out. If you spot hard lane in game mode selection, just pick Shade and Barry for a free win. Shade can walk on water, go through walls, charge its super in proximity, deal damage through walls, and extend its range. Yeah, Supercell calls this balanced. But on this specific map, Shade is insanely overpowered, and pairing it with Barry, which heals Shade, takes things to another level. When the zone closes towards the middle and enemies hide behind walls and bushes, just damage them through the walls while Barry keeps you healing. Shade might be scary, but not as much as this ghost. Speaking of clutches, this enemy team accidentally clutched against themselves. In a Brawl hockey match, the blue team completely messed up and all got wiped, leaving the goal wide open. But just as the enemy was about to score the easiest goal of their life, Ollie misclicked and kicked the ball in the wrong direction, causing it to bounce all over the map and escape. Then, Melody from the blue team respawned, dashed toward the puck, and pulled off the ultimate reverse Uno. Now that's embarrassing. Imagine beating one of the best players in the world. Well, that's exactly what happened when a random player stumbled into a match with Crestal, one of the top Brawl Stars pros and creators out there. But instead of getting destroyed, they absolutely wiped the floor with him and his team in no time. So, is he really one of the best players anymore? This has got to be a 1 in a million Brock clutch in duo showdown. He was stuck in a final 2-team fight, getting pushed by both enemies at once, and it looked like he was done for. But somehow, he pulled off the impossible. He used his super to take out one enemy, then instantly popped his jump gadget to dodge all of the incoming shots, and finished the last player with a single rocket. Okay, someone hired this guy for esports. But this player encountered one of the rarest moments in Brawl Stars. While playing solo showdown, he ran into an Edgar. Pretty chilling already. But then he engaged in combat, and Edgar actually ended up taking him out. And that's when something really rare happened. Edgar used the thumbs up emote. Yeah, Edgar being friendly? This might just be a sign that the end of the world is near. I bet you've seen those annoying quests where you have to deal a ridiculous 300,000 damage with a certain brawler. Everyone knows it's pretty easy if you get a good damage dealer, but if you pull Poco, you're basically doomed. Seriously, how are you supposed to deal that much damage with a healer? And it's even worse if you've already used up all your quest rerolls. At that point, you might as well just close the game and touch some grass. If you're playing a brawler with a turret like Penny or 8-Bit, you probably place it safely behind a wall, right? Well, then comes Brock, who can literally shoot his rocket over the wall and destroy your sentry with his splash damage like he's got built-in wall hacks. No, my turret! That one had a special hand-engraved Balootic on it. Willow's mind control is straight up broken in Brawl Ball. Her super is so overpowered it's ridiculous, and Supercell still hasn't fixed it. She can literally hijack a teammate who's carrying the ball, walk straight to your own goal, and score, because you can't even attack your teammates to stop it. This glitch is insane, and yeah, I'm definitely blaming my teammate and Supercell for that self-goal. Teammates that don't care about their team are the worst, especially when you're up against Squeak. He throws his bomb on your teammates, and instead of running away, that genius teammate runs straight towards you, explodes, and takes both of you out. That's literally killing two birds with one rock. I bet you didn't know you could literally get jump scared in Brawl Stars. Well, the pin jump scare glitch did exactly that. Every pin would suddenly blow up in size, covering half your screen so fast that it could actually startle players. And instead of just disappearing, they would grow out of the screen in the most chaotic way possible. The true reason behind this glitch is still unknown, but one thing's for sure, it was terrifying. Though, to be honest, I wouldn't mind getting jump scared by Melody. Anyways, most players know that bots can be weird, especially when they just hide in bushes all game. But what you probably didn't know is that they can actually sync up. There used to be a glitch in Duo Showdown where a team of bots would accidentally share the same movement, acting as a single brawler. You could spot them because they'd always be in the exact same place, moving together. Now that is something you'd call double trouble. Get it? Because it's like double the trouble. I bet Chester is the brawler you use the least, but players picked him even less when this glitch appeared. As we all know, Chester's attacks are randomized, meaning you can get one of 4 different attacks for both his regular shots and super. But if you used his super, got the Pop Rocks version, and then immediately died, the attack would deal 0 damage, even though it's supposed to create a damaging area effect. Maybe this is why Chester is a joker. You know something's seriously wrong when you start seeing Brawl Stars' code on your screen. Either you're a hacker or the developers completely messed up. And that actually happened once when a new ranked season was introduced. Usually the introduction screen shows the new modifiers and maps added to the ranked cycle, but instead, players were greeted with a code snippet saying no modifiers, and that the modifier setting was set to 0. Definitely not something you're supposed to see.
Okay, I bet you never play Doug, but for the 0.001% of players who do, here's a mistake you need to avoid. Don't use your super right before you die. If you're already in a fight and things are getting dicey, the better move is to use your super early, then go aggressive and try to charge it again. That way, if you get taken out, you'll revive and already be on your way to another super. Hot dogs never die! Everyone thinks Larry and Lori just never got enough nerfs, and honestly, they're probably right. But if you're actually playing them, there's a trick that completely demolishes everyone. It involves the weapon swap gadget, which normally swaps weapons before you and Lori, but there's a way to make both of you have the same weapons. First, spawn Lori and use the gadget. He'll get the thrower weapon. Then charge your super again, throw him, and while he's mid-air, use the gadget one more time. Now both of you have the thrower weapon, and you can basically rain down airstrikes on your enemies. It's so broken that players started calling it a troll tool. Ash is a pretty strategic brawler, and if you're using his star power that fills half his rage bar with the first attack, you'll want to wait a moment between your first 2 hits. That small delay actually lets you fill the rage bar to the max, but if you just spam all your ammo right after missing the first shot, you'll barely gain any rage at all.
This Colt accidentally triggered one of the rarest glitches in the game. While playing Hockey Brawl to warm up for ranked, he shot the puck toward the left side, only for it to bounce off literal air and somehow go straight into the goal. No walls, no brawlers, just air. And honestly, this is exactly why the community called Supercell Bugacell. This is easily one of the craziest close call clutches in Brawl Stars history. In a heist match, the enemy team brought the safe down to just 7%, and it looked like a guaranteed win. That was until Daryl rushed in, took out one of the enemies, and opened up the path for Brock and Jesse to charge forward. Then the 15-second countdown started ticking, and in the last second push, both Brock and Jesse activated their hypercharges and melted the enemy safe down to 4%, stealing the win right before the clock hit 0. The enemy team probably boiled their phones after that one. Accidentally flicking the ball and missing your shot in Brawl Ball is probably one of the most embarrassing things that can happen in Brawl Stars, and that's exactly what happened to this Colette player. After using her super to launch the ball towards the goal, it actually had a chance to go in, but it bounced off when an enemy briefly touched touched it. Then, with every enemy down and the goal wide open, Colette walked right up and flicked the ball to the left. And the worst part is that the match ended in a draw, which means the whole game was a complete waste of everyone's time. Never put El Primo and Lola on the same team, because if you do, El Primo will literally kick Lola straight in the face. Did you know that Cordelius is kind of way too suspicious? If you go to his pin collection and spam these exact 2 pins, he actually says something weird. I think Cordelius might have gone a bit too far with this one.
Supercell will make you pay to enter the training ground. Okay, not really, but did you know there's a time limit in the training cave? In case you want to test this out, if you stay in there for about 13 minutes, the match will end. Does Supercell not want me to get better? I need to shoot these defenseless bots forever. One of the most creative ideas for Brawl Stars that got rejected was trading. The concept was simple. Players could trade cosmetics, resources, and maybe even Brawler. It would have been the perfect way to use up those millions of unused power points and make the game more free-to-play friendly. But wait, did someone say free? Yeah, that's a hard reject from Supercell. Everyone knows about map makers. And sure, some custom apps are pretty fun, but honestly, the community has had enough of it. And that's when the mode maker idea popped up. Instead of just creating a map, you could create your own custom game mode as well. You'd be able to tweak existing game mode settings, add different objectives, and really get creative with the gameplay. This wouldn't even be that crazy of an idea either, seeing how games like Fortnite already do this.
This showdown combo might be on a blacklist. Okay, not really, but it's a total demolishing strategy. Shelly x Jean. To pull this off, both Shelly's and Jean's supers need to be charged. Jean pulls an enemy close, and Shelly obliterates them on the spot. Bonus tip, if Jean uses his hypercharge, he can pull in even more enemies for Shelly to clean up with ease. Supercell obviously forgot their maps when they made Shade. In Gem Grab, there's a map called Snowman Forest, which is literally an island surrounded by water. Now you might ask, but Balootic, I don't see anything weird here. Well, congrats. You should probably work at Supercell. The thing is, Shade can grab all the gems, phase through walls, and just hang out on the water until the match ends, making it absolutely impossible for the other team to come back. Honestly, I think Shade needs a buff. Here's a pro tip to become a world-class El Primo player. If you see Tick's bomb heading your way, just use El Primo's throw gadget to toss a bomb straight at your teammates instead and obliterate them. That way, you'll stay alive because, let's be real, El Primo is the most important player. My hero. This next hiding strategy guarantees an easy, cheesy win in wipeout mode, with no effort. It's similar to the trapping enemies trick, but this time, you're trapping yourself. Here's how it works. You'll need Gale, Jackie, and Colt. First, as Colt takes down enemies to get up points, he'll use his wall-breaking gadget to destroy a corner. Then, Jackie repairs the walls, leaving just one tile open. Finally, Gale places his jump pad, and you all hop into the spot together. Enemies will totally be frustrated trying to reach you, but all they can do is watch as they lose. Getting eliminated is already frustrating, but it's even worse when you've just charged up your hypercharge, ready to demolish the enemy team, only to get instantly killed the moment you activate it. There should definitely be some kind of short invisibility window after using a hypercharge. Seeing Mandy in Knockout is probably every player's worst nightmare, and it's all because of her super. Imagine you're walking toward the middle with your team, all grouped up, and then bam, Mandy's super comes straight at all 3 of you. Yeah, that's when you know it's time to log off for the day. Everyone loves power cubes, but you've probably had the moment where someone swoops in and steals a cube right after you open a box or took down an enemy, right in front of your brawler. This is especially frustrating when you're playing Piper since her shots only deal high damage from a distance, meaning you can't grab the cube fast enough. We seriously need to start saying, swiper, no swiping. Buzz might have just gotten a huge buff with how he switched targets in this moment. In a Brawl Ball match, he used his super on Mandy, who was right in front of him, but instead of stunning her, Buzz suddenly changed direction mid-super and stunned El Primo instead. It's one of those rare moments where Buzz doesn't hold back at all, just like how this Doug wasn't holding back either. In a knockout match, all of his teammates were down, so he teleported behind the enemy, snuck through the bushes, and took out 2 of them on his own. Then, unfortunately, Bo managed to take him out. But Doug used his super just in time, revived himself, and finished off Bo like a true clutch king. Now that's a real wiener. Everyone remembers when Crow would fly with his super and score a goal while carrying the ball. That was an early Brawl Stars bug. But guess what? Supercell made the same mistake again, this time with Dynamite. Some players discovered that if you time your jumps perfectly using Dyna Jump and land on the ball while using your super, you can literally fly across the map with the ball and score while no one can stop you. We all thought Brawl Stars fixed crucial bugs, but, well, here we are again. Did you know you could clone brawlers in Brawl Stars? Back in the Angels vs. Demons season, there was an ability called Rebirth, which gave you a second life when you were supposed to die. But there was a crazy glitch with Mo and Bonnie. If you had Rebirth activated and you used their super at the same time, it would leave behind a clone that could take damage, capture Hot Zone, and even score a goal in Brawl Ball. It was insanely overpowered, but the real question players had was, how did Super mess this up so badly?
Draco can literally stay in his super forever, and that's because while he's in his dragon form, hitting enemies actually charges his super back up. So after landing a few shots, he can just refill his super bar and keep blasting even more players without ever going back to normal mode. You should definitely try the Meeple and Carl combo. In case you didn't know, Meeple's super makes any projectile from you or your teammates pass through walls. But here's where it gets interesting. When Carl uses his dash gadget, he technically becomes a projectile, and if you aim it at a wall where Meeple placed his super, Carl can actually dash straight through it. I'm not sure if this is a glitch, but for now it can be super useful for surprise attacks. There's a really cool trick to deal more damage with Surge. If you're in your 4th form and your enemy is standing right next to a wall, don't aim directly at them. Instead, aim at the wall. Your attack will bounce off it and hit the enemy, dealing nearly 7,000 damage in just one shot. Now that's seriously overpowered. Many players don't know this, but there's actually a strategic trick to spotting if your enemy has an epic or mythic gear. If you look closely at the icons under their brawler, specifically the gadget icon, you'll notice something interesting. Regular gadgets look plain with no texture, but if a player has a mythic or epic gear, the gadget icon will have tiny textured lines on it. This lets you figure out if the enemy is stronger before the match even starts, though you might need to grab a magnifying glass to actually see it. Speaking of gadgets, there's actually a sneaky way to tell if a player is using a vision gadget. Normally, you won't see anything on their gadget icon that gives it away, but if they shoot at you, one of your gadget icons will start flashing. That flash means they just got a glimpse of your location, even if you're hiding in a bush. So if you ever spot that icon blinking, you better run.
Everyone knows that moment when you win a super intense ranked match, thinking you've literally finally made it to the next rank, only to check the lobby and realize you're 1 point short. And of course, the next match is a total disaster, and you end up losing everything, even dropping back to the previous rank. Honestly, Supercell should just add a +1 bonus point to push players into the next rank. Save us all the pain. You've probably been called a clown more times than you can count in Brawl Stars, but this stew took it to a whole new level. As a Fang was casually passing by, a random stew with the Santa skin suddenly spun around, started spamming attacks, dropped a clown spray, used the clown pin, and just kept doing it without even seeing Fang before that moment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the new red hypercharge ability, Maximum Clown Mode. This might be the biggest betrayal in Brawl Stars history. So Bull and Barry were facing off in Showdown, and Bull placed down a half heart spray. Barry, thinking it was a sign of peace, dropped the other half to complete the heart and team up. But the moment he did, Bull rushed in and absolutely destroyed him. It might seem evil, but let's be honest, teaming is even worse. So don't do it!
While Sprout can push bosses around with ease, did you know it can also move Ikes? If you're unfamiliar, Ikes are the turrets you need to destroy to win certain game modes. But if you aim Sprouts' super just right, you can actually move the Ike across the battlefield. Just imagine if 2 Ikes encountered each other. I think Brawl Stars' servers would actually explode. Did you know you can literally invade other players' lobbies? All you have to do is open the Join Team code menu, create your own code, and copy it. Then, by simply changing the last number in the code and trying a few variations, you'll eventually sneak into a random player's lobby, and you can throw all their games. Wait, why did you kick me? Did you know Supercell once considered Homer to be a brawler? No, I'm not talking about that one, but this prototype that looked just like a Colt and could shoot only 1 bullet per attack. Back in 2019, just before Brawler days, some players dug up hidden game files and extracted this masterpiece. However, when they found it, it kind of creeped them out. Why didn't they just add Homer Simpson instead? I bet you didn't know Supercell scrapped this trumpet pin. Now, you may be wondering what's so special about it. Well, let me tell you, nothing. However, some leakers managed to save this sound effect, so take a listen. It still isn't known why they chose not to use this, but some players think they might be saving it to use in another game like Clash Royale because, let's be honest, trumpets in Brawl Stars? Really? But did you know hoverboard was supposed to be a thing in Brawl Stars? Okay, you've been fooled once again, as this was actually the codename for yet another brawler that was supposed to be added to the game. And this one had the ability to walk over water, shoot lasers, and worst of all, a creepy smile. Stop staring at me! Everyone knows quick message replies existed in Brawl Stars. But did you know about the secret ones? Yes, these messages were supposed to be more colorful, which you can tell by this photo that shows the messages with code tags. Now, although this is pretty useless, I have to admit it would be a fun feature, unless your friend picks blue, so now you have no idea what they're saying.
Did you know you can stay in the zone until it wipes out enemies? While the old Miko and Charlie strategy might have been patched, there's a new Nani x Charlie strategy. Spoiler alert, you have to pass the Nani driving test. However, here's how it's done. As the zone is about halfway across the map, Charlie gets eliminated in the zone while Nani charges her super. Then, exactly 6 seconds before Charlie respawns, Nani goes into the zone and also gets eliminated. If timed perfectly, Charlie should respawn and activate her gadget that puts her in a protective web, which heals her over time. Once Nani is back, she uses her super with the star power that grants 80% damage reduction right after her immunity shield wears off. Finally, Charlie respawns again and uses her gadget, staying in the zone until the enemies are completely wiped out. But speaking of Nani, here's a pro tip to dodge her super. When Nani launches Peep to chase you, simply start turning to the side so Peep follows in that direction. Keep moving in circles and you'll confuse it completely. Peep's turning speed just can't keep up. Who would have guessed dodging it could be that easy? Most players don't realize that Willow can do this. In Showdown, if you're the last one standing against another player, you can just use Willow's mind control super to take control of your enemy and move them deep into the poison zone. They'll be completely helpless and ultimately trolled. You know those players who somehow guess star player for absolutely no reason? Well, that's exactly what happened with this Buzz Lightyear player. He played like a total noob, stole goals, dealt no damage, and just because he happened to score twice, he ended up as star player and snatched those extra trophies from teammates who actually deserved it. It's already frustrating when this happens, but the fact that it was a Buzz Lightyear player makes it 10 times worse. This Gale got absolutely demolished for no reason. As he walked towards the center in Showdown, he spotted a bunch of El Primos and a Buzz, so he immediately started spamming the scared pin. But Buzz didn't care and went straight for him, followed by the El Primos jumping in too. Gale quickly used his tornado to escape the chaos, but just when he thought he was safe, all 4 El Primos used their super on him at the same time.
Okay, that's a little bit overkill.
If you're a Gus main, you probably remember the pain of fighting brawlers that could fly over water. Back in the day, there was a glitch that stopped Gus's shots from going over water. So if you were up against someone like Angelo, he could easily snipe you while your balloon would just stop at the edge of the water. I guess Supercell didn't inflate his balloons enough. Did you know players can reject your invite? Well, I didn't because, well, I have no friends. Okay, but seriously, it's so frustrating when a friend you usually play with rejects your invite right in front of your face. Like, they're online all day, but suddenly they found someone better to play with? Honestly, I'd consider that cheating. How dare you? Speaking of friends, something even worse than rejecting an invite is when your friend leaves the game without telling you. You start a match, see the loading screen, and then boom, your friend is tagged with the offline text. Like, at least say you're leaving. Now I'm just gonna have to find out where you're hiding. Okay, maybe that's a good way to end up in jail. This Hank player literally pulled off a frame-perfect trick. While playing Brawl Hockey, he charged his attack at the exact same moment his teammate passed him the ball, and somehow triggered a bug where he could carry the puck while keeping his attack charged. He even hid it behind his bubble. Guess we can call that a $10 problem, right, Supercell? This El Primo accidentally became the hero of the match. During a Brawl Ball game, his team was about to get scored on. One teammate was already eliminated, and the enemies were closing in fast. Just as Frank rushed him, El Primo misclicked and used his throwing gadget, tossing Frank right in front of the goal as Spike was about to shoot. That tiny delay was just enough for his teammate to respawn, block the ball, and pass it to Mortis, who ran it all the way back and scored. Man, I wish my misclicks were this good. Megapig actually scammed this player, or did it? At the end of the event, this player opened his Megapig fully expecting the usual bad drops, but something insane happened. Every single one of his 20 star drops turned out to be epic, and on top of that, each one gave him 100 power points. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, and after some players calculated the numbers, they found out that the odds of that happening were basically impossible. Like, we're talking many zeros after the decimal impossible. Honestly, he would have had a better chance playing the lottery that day instead of Brawl Stars. Speaking of ranked, if you reached Diamond rank around the time Squad Busters was released and promoted in Brawl Stars, you probably noticed something weird. The download button for Squad Busters literally covered the Diamond rank tips. These tips were supposed to help players, but Supercell didn't seem to care. Guess they thought promoting their new game was way more important. Did you know that Shelly used to appear angry in the quest menu? If you checked their quests, any that included Shelly wouldn't show her icon. Instead, you'd just see the angry emo pin we all spam when raging at teammates. Looks like even Shelly was tired of grinding quests. Not fantastico!
Ollie secretly got a buff that Supercell does not want you to know about. Previously, when using his super, Ollie would be stuck in a muted state, meaning you couldn't use his gadget at all. But now, that mute state has secretly been removed, meaning you can actually use his jump gadget while his super is active, letting you reposition and deal damage at the same time. This might actually be the new meta. If you're playing a bushy map with Angelo, make sure to constantly scan the bushes by spamming his attack through them. It's a simple but effective way to spot hidden enemies, and if you combine this with the vision gear, you can charge his attack and hit enemies directly while they're still hiding. Piper's super might seem like a big deal to a lot of players, but did you know it's actually kind of weak? Many players panic and run away from the spot she jumps from when she uses it up close, but that's the worst thing you can do. What you should do instead is just stand still, because if you don't move, her bombs won't even hit you. I feel dumb for not realizing this sooner.
Recently, players discovered something pretty crazy. In one of the Brawl Stars animations where Piper's making bomb cakes, there's a moment where BB jumps on Rico. But here's the wild part. Rico has chicken skin in the game, so technically, we just witnessed a chicken jockey. This may mean we'll get a Minecraft collab one day. Okay, that's probably never going to happen. If you've ever played Brawl Stars at a friend's house with bad Wi-Fi, then you know how frustrating it can get, lagging all over the place and getting folded by enemies like it's nothing. But one player experienced something even stranger. As their connection started bugging out, Draco literally folded in half. I didn't even know this was possible in Brawl Stars. Speaking of wild brawler model moments, one of the craziest has to be when Supercell accidentally broke the game and made all of the brawlers look transparent. But it didn't stop there. On top of looking like they had Leon's ability active, they also started doing T-poses. And this wasn't just in matches. It happened in the lobby and even on the match end screen. It seriously felt like playing Brawl Stars inside Gary's mod.
You know that feeling when Colette runs over you mid-battle? Yeah, I feel like I just encountered A-Train. Well, there is a way to completely counter this. Next time you're up against Colette, pick Fang, and when she tries to pull off her super, Fang can simply use his Corn Fu gadget to stun her in the middle of attack. Did you know there's a hidden Easter egg in Eve's ship? If you go to the brawler menu and tilt her head around just right, you'll spot pictures of her kids hanging inside. This might mean Eve is a loving, caring mom, or maybe not. Back in the day, players discovered a super unique scrapped brawler hidden in the game files, Bone Thrower Pet. At first, it might seem just like another Nita clone, but this brawler had a completely unique mechanic. Instead of a pet that fights on its own, Bone Thrower Pet would just use bones to lure its pet toward enemies, making it way more strategic. But for some reason, Supercell completely scrapped the idea. Maybe because Poco would always be his target. Get it? Because he's made out of bones? Danny has to hate Supercell, because at the time of upcoming Brawlies, Supercell decided to release his own Danny Piper skin. After designing the skin along with Paula Jessie, Supercell simply decided to never give it out to players and scrapped it fully. However, traces of these skins data were found in the Chinese version of Brawl Stars. Yeah, you might be angry at Supercell now, but not as much as me, because they also rejected making the Frank skin. Brawl Stars could have had a running game mode, because in the game files there was a mode called Reach Exit. However, it also came with assets of doors which go up and down, as well as buttons that were supposed to open them. There's no known reason why developers decided not to make it a real game mode, but if they did, I think it would have felt like playing Subway Surfers.
If you see a map full of bushes and want to dominate, pick Bo with his circling eagle star power. This ability lets you and your teammates see a wider radius inside bushes, giving you a huge advantage. With this, sneaky enemies like Edgar won't catch you off guard anymore. Back to the lobby! Here's a pro tip every player should know. Don't hold on to your gadgets and supers for too long. In most cases, waiting for the perfect moment means you might never use them effectively, or even worse, you might just get eliminated before you have the chance. However, if this is you, remember that supers can be recharged and gadgets come with at least 3 charges. So try to use them wisely, but don't hesitate. You're better off taking the shot than missing your chance entirely. Here's a strategy that might seem toxic, but is actually genius in Brawl Ball. When the enemy team gets completely wiped and you have a free shot at the goal, don't rush to score. If it's your first goal, spinning and delaying it takes precious time away from the enemy team in the next round, making it harder for them to do a comeback. If you know what Jesse and Belle have in common, they're both absolute masters at making you rage. Everyone's been there, running for your life with just 1 HP left, thinking you've somehow survived the chaos, only to get sniped by Jesse's stupidly accurate bounce shot or Belle's bullet ricocheting off your clueless teammate halfway across the map. Like, how does that even hit me? I hate this game. One of the most annoying types of players in Brawl Stars ranked are suggest spammers. They'll spam brawler suggestions non-stop, making that notification pop up 1,000 times. But still, that's not as bad as the players who steal your brawler the second the match loads, and then end up being the worst player on the team. If you ever wondered what top tier trolling looks like in Brawl Stars, then this is the perfect example. During a big boss match, the boss was Sprout, and the way he won was actually hilarious. He charged up his super, ran into a corner, and completely walled himself in, making it absolutely impossible for anybody to reach him. Then, he just kept spamming his regular attacks from behind the wall and literally won the match doing only that. I guess this is exactly why Big Boss got removed. Today might be the happiest day of my life because I just found out El Primo has a secret ability. Yup, you heard that right. He actually has a quantum tunneling super? What? And if you don't believe me, just watch this clip. During a gem grab match, a player stole some gems, hid in a bush, and then literally phased through a wall. This right here, guys, this is why El Primo is the GOAT. Pulling with Gray can be tricky, but this glitch was next level. During the Godzilla event, if you picked Gray and loaded into the match, you could completely freeze Godzilla for the entire game. All you had to do was use Gray's hook gadget when Godzilla was near the unbreakable walls, and boom, he'd be stuck forever. Many players abuse this trick, and let's just say it caused a lot of frustration, with players losing their egg drops and their minds. I bet you didn't know that there was a time when your coins and gems could just vanish. Some players would casually play Brawl Stars like usual, but when they looked at the top right corner, their resources were completely gone. And there was a picture of Hot El Primo! Okay, not really, but there was nothing. Just an empty space. For a second, it made players think Supercell had stolen all their coins and gems. But don't worry, Hot El Primo doesn't exist. Or does he? Sometimes I worry that Supercell might actually make us pay for 2 skins for Larry and Lori since they're technically 2 brawlers in one. And weirdly enough, that almost became a reality with the strange half skin glitch. If you unlocked a Larry and Lori skin from a drop, there was a chance that the glitch would only apply the skin to Larry, leaving Lori unchanged. Maybe Lori just didn't like the design. Honestly, I can't blame him. Neither do I. This next glitch literally erased an entire season's progress in ranked. As we know, ranks in ranked mode upgrade your icon each season when you reach them. But some players started a new season, played until they got back to their previous rank, and when they unlocked it, nothing changed. No extra stars, no upgraded icon, just the same one as before. Meaning all that grinding in the previous season was all for absolutely nothing. If you're playing Stu, then you need to know this triple dash trick. If you're already picking Stu, chances are you're one of those players who are pretty good with him. But adding this move to your strategy makes you even deadlier. Here's how it works. Approach your enemy from the side with a pre-charged super, then activate your super, shoot, and immediately spam super again. This lets you dash twice in a row. Why? Because Stu fires 2 bullets per attack, and each bullet charges his super fully, allowing you to chain 2 dashes back to back. The only catch is that you'll need good ping for it to work. Otherwise, you're just gonna look dumb and get demolished. Many Sam players make the mistake of throwing his super at enemies first and then using his regular attack. But that's completely wrong. You should actually start by attacking with his knuckles on before throwing the super, because that way you deal nearly double the damage compared to attacking without them. Plus, this lets you pull off his full combo. 2 strong attacks, then the super, followed by 2 weaker attacks. You know that guy who always says, "I'm crazy with Colt, trust me bro"? Well, this is essentially a live replay of those pro moves. First, he completely misses all of his shots on Bull, then follows it up by shooting straight into a wall. But it gets worse. He runs away and uses his wall breaking gadget, only to miss Bull by a mile. If you play like this, maybe just stick to Edgar instead. Everyone knows about the legendary King Frank skin that never got released. Well, guess what? You can finally purchase it. But here's the catch. The skin is only available through the Supercell store and costs 15,000 store points. These points are earned by buying items from the store, meaning if you want the skin, it'll cost you around $100. Alternatively, you can complete quests in pretty much any Supercell game to earn points. Now you can finally play as King Frank, though your wallet might feel a little lighter. Look at this cool trick you can do with Mandy. On certain maps where she sits on her throne, you can spot her casually watching the match like she's enjoying an ancient gladiator battle. However, if you select Mandy as your brawler and play on the same map, she won't be sitting on her throne anymore, because now she's the one in the battle. Most players think that there's a filter that stops you from matching with the same brawler as you, but that's actually not true. If you're lucky, you can end up on a team with the same brawler you're playing. And believe it or not, there's even a slim chance that all 3 brawlers on your team could also be the same. However, I found this out the hard way when both my teammates loaded in as level 1 ticks. How are you dead already? There's a way for you to get your own Supercell creator code, but Balootic, you need at least 1,000
subs. Well, don't worry, fellow brawlers. Supercell just changed that, and to get it, you only need 1,000 followers on TikTok, 100 subs on YouTube, or 25 followers on Twitch. It's literally too easy. That should mean I qualify too, right? Okay, maybe not. Did you know Cordelius and Lily use the same Shadow Realm? Okay, maybe you did, but this can be super useful because if your teammate is Cordelius, then both of you can dive into the dimension together to finish off an enemy. Yeah, they definitely won't be expecting that. Did you know Supercell rejected tons of Brawl Stars logo designs before picking the one we all know today? If you've ever seen the official Brawl Stars artwork book, there's a whole page showcasing these scrapped ideas, and surprisingly, they all look almost identical. Honestly, these rejected logos might not have made it into the game, but they'd look cool as stickers. Did you know Brawl Stars was almost called Project Laser? That's right. Originally, it was going to be a futuristic, space-themed game instead of the Wild West-inspired one we know today. The concept included rockets and sci-fi pickups, and some of these assets were even left in the game files by accident. While the idea of Project Laser sounds pretty cool, it's hard to imagine Brawl Stars without its iconic Western vibe.
If you're playing Tick or Nita and you charge your super, you've probably thought the best way to use it is to throw it directly at the enemy. But that's actually wrong. The best way to use your super is by spawning it near you. That's because when spawnables appear, there's a slight delay before they can move or attack. So spawning them closer to the enemy actually makes them much faster to charge in and attack. Your team should take care of super management. This strategy involves managing your teammates' supers to maximize efficiency. For example, if your super is already charged, leave enemies for teammates who still need to charge theirs. Also, be careful not to take unnecessary damage, as that could charge the enemy's super and give a chance to completely demolish your team. Did you know players on the lower portion of the map have a slight advantage? Yup, that's because Brawl Stars game perspective is slightly tilted towards the upper portion of the map, meaning you'll have an easier time playing against enemies above you. Also, did you know you can actually tell if the enemy has reloaded their ammo? All you have to do is spot certain brawler animations. For example, Tick turns his key once after reloading, Gene touches his lamp, and Sandy bobs his head. Some brawlers don't have these animations, and some even have them removed. For example, Mortis had his lamp light up if his dash bar was full. However, Supercell thought that was somehow unfair for Mortis. Challenges are a pretty cool addition to the game, especially since they give out free rewards. But let's be real, they're only fun until you run out of lives. Everyone knows that feeling when you're one win away from the final reward, and then you lose the challenge. Seriously, it almost feels like Supercell rigs that last win just to mess with us. Legendary drops shouldn't even be called legendary, because let's be real, you're 99% guaranteed to get something bad, and that 1% chance is probably just gonna give you Shelly. They don't even compare with mega boxes because back in the day, opening a mega box actually felt exciting. You could pull a legendary or a ton of coins, but now opening legendary drops feel more like a common pin pack. We totally need mega boxes back. This Mortis pulled the biggest trick shot in the game. Well, not really. In this Brawl Ball match, Bo cleared out the entire enemy team at the goal, giving Mortis a perfect chance to score. But instead of taking the shot, Mortis pulled out his secret move, waiting for the enemy team to respawn and passing the ball right to them, which ended up losing the game for his team. Speaking of trick shots, this one's actually real. Maisie pulled off a true solo score in Brawl Ball against 3 enemies. She had the ball, while her teammates were eliminated, and the goal was fully defended. But just when the enemy team thought they had the upper hand, Maisie used her super to knock all of them back and scored a goal, tying the match. She definitely got back pain from all of that carrying. But you know what else is frustrating? Mr. P. Back when boxes made their return in the game, there was a bug where opening them could glitch out and give you the same pin 10 times in a row. Just like this player who opened a box only to get a bunch of angry Mr. P pins. Honestly, I just think that was a secret collaboration with Angry Birds. Have you ever been so close to getting something only to miss out at the last second? Well, some players experience this with a crazy locked up jackpot. When checking their daily freebies in the shop, they'd collect their free resources only to see a jackpot hidden behind the Brawl Pass. This left many players frustrated, but luckily, Supercell eventually fixed it. But give me that jackpot! Most players are using their hypercharge completely wrong. Right after activating it, they instantly use their super, which is a huge mistake. What you should actually be doing is wait until the end of your hypercharge to use your super, so you still get the boosted version and start recharging hyper again right away. This basically creates a hyper loop. It's super noticeable
with brawlers like Janet, who can refill up to 75% of her hyper by just hitting every attack of her super. If you ever play Miko and run into another Miko in a match, make sure you never jump first, because the Miko that jumps first almost always loses. There's a really cool trick with Max's super. If you're playing support Max, make sure to call your whole team over when you get your hypercharge ready. If you activate your hypercharge super while everyone is close by, you'll almost instantly refill your super bar. Then, just land one hit on an enemy, and boom, your super's full again. You can repeat this cycle up to 3 times, giving your teammates a constant stream of energy drinks and letting them spam their supers to wipe out the entire team.
I bet you didn't know that one of the funniest team combinations in all of Brawl Stars is Poco and Doug, and that's because they match up perfectly. While Poco's doing his idle guitar solo animation, Doug is right there dancing along. You can throw literally any music over it, and it'll look amazing every single time.
Everyone knows Buzz is a lifeguard, but does that make him able to attack enemies on water? Well, most of you probably thought that he can't attack enemies on water as his range is too short for it. However, if you have his super fully charged, you can use it on enemies that are hovering over water and completely stun them. Of course, after you've stunned them, you'll be teleported to land, so make sure you have your friend pick a ranged brawler to finish them off. If you're playing Leon, don't be scared of Otis. If he hits you with his mute super while you're invisible and using your healing star power, guess what? You'll stay invisible and keep healing. Now that's overpowered. But speaking of kudos, one idea suggests that they could be a reward in Star Road, and the more kudos you give out, the more rewards you'll get for doing it. It's sad Supercell decided to reject this idea, because if they did, we would get total world peace. Now, if Supercell wanted to add additional thrill and fun to their game, they should add more 5v5 game modes. Of course, modes like 5v5 Knockout have been absolutely hated by the community, but come on! You can't tell me that a 5v5 Hot Zone mode wouldn't get crazy. Just imagine having a giant circle that takes forever to fill up. There would be so many kills. Everyone knows getting credits can be super annoying. Imagine saving up for a future brawler coming next season, but then you get a star drop and get unexpected credits, forcing you to unlock the brawler you're currently working on instead. To fix this, players suggested that Supercell should add an option to choose where those credits go, whether to your current brawler, fame, or credit bank.
Notifications are totally annoying, especially when your taxman messages you, but there's nothing worse than the low battery notification that always pops up in the middle of a battle, which you can't even mute. You press OK, and boom, you're literally eliminated. However, some phones have notifications that don't interrupt gameplay, which is something iPhones should definitely consider. Yeah, we're all switching to pair phones after that one. Teaming has been haunting players since the very beginning of Brawl Stars, and honestly, it's a total nightmare. You load into a solo showdown just to see 3 players teaming up against you and demolish you. Supercell already tried fixing this by adding duo showdown into the game, which didn't solve anything. But hey, if it takes a whole squad to take you down, maybe that just means you're a pro. Old ranked was already frustrating, but the new system is even worse. Back in the day, you only need 12 level 9 brawlers to reach diamond rank, but after the rework, you now need 12 level 11 brawlers just to play in Mythic League. Yeah, inflation has even hit Brawl Stars rank. Look guys, I love El Primo, but some players make you wish he never existed. Okay, maybe that's a little bit harsh, but you've definitely played with that El Primo in Gem Grab. You know, the one who hoards all the gems, and just when your team's about to win, he does that El Primo jump and loses everything. I'd call those players El Mido because they're just mid. When a new brawler drops and they're completely overpowered, you already know what's coming. Every match gets flooded with that brawler. Seriously, it's like they're the only character in the game. The most insane example of this, Buzz Lightyear. When Buzz Lightyear dropped, the game basically became unplayable. So many players just straight up quit until Supercell finally stepped in and nerfed him. But by then, most people had already gotten bored and moved on. I bet you didn't know there was a dislike pin that basically cost a team $1 million. It all went down during the World Cup Finals in 2021 when Tribe faced off against Ints in a siege match, and Tribe got way too toxic. Instead of focusing on the bolts, they kept spinning and spamming the dislike pin every time they got a kill. But karma hit fast. Ints turned the game around, took full control, and ended up winning the entire match, costing Tribe the championship and $1 million prize. Definitely the most expensive dislike button in Brawl Stars history. Back in the Brawl Time event, Supercell hosted a massive giveaway where players could win 1 million gems by posting a Valentine's moment related to Brawl Stars on social media. And one lucky couple actually won. The player shared a photo of himself and his girlfriend at a cosplay convention, and Supercell picked them as the winners. Since both of them played the game, they had to split the prize, getting 50,000 gems each. The plot twist? The guy already had a maxed out account, but his girlfriend didn't. so the gems were a huge boost for her. Seems like having a girlfriend is a legit way to boost your Brawl Stars account. This player literally had plot armor. While playing Jessie in solo showdown, she was nearly taken out by Crow's poison, until Crow tried to finish her off with his super, and got absolutely demolished instead. Yeah, Crow's probably not jumping back into Brawl Stars anytime soon after that one.
Did you know you can make brawlers dance? Well, not really, but their icons sure can. In the brawler menu, there's a sorting option that lets you organize brawlers by who has the most quests. But if you spam this button enough times, the icons start going all over the place. Supercell thought that they fixed this bug, but when they introduced the new favorite brawler sorting, players noticed it was happening again. Looks like Supercell has a bit more work to do on this one. We already know Buzz's Godzilla skin is a bit buggy, but did you know you could use it to steal Leon's super? If you go into a match or training grounds, charge Buzz's hypercharge, activate it, and then spam his super until it runs out, you'll then get stuck in his hypercharge state with a weird flying animation. But here's when it gets crazy. If you use your super again after running out of hypercharge, his skin completely glitches out and you'll appear totally invisible. Sounds overpowered, right? Well, not really, because the glitch was only visible to you. Never play Lumi. No, seriously, I'm not joking. If you enter a match with Lumi and the enemy team has Miko, just leave the match immediately. When Lumi throws both of her balls on the field, you're left with one ammo to pick them back up. But if Miko jumps you while you're in ballless mode, you become completely useless, because you literally can't pick up your balls anymore. But hey, at least Miko never had any to begin with. Supercell is literally lying to you. Back in the day, when you were setting your age for your Brawl Stars account, there was a message under the bar saying, this won't affect your gameplay. But this was a huge lie, because if you set your age under 16, you lose about 90% of all social features in the game. No chat, no interactions, nothing. And you couldn't change it. Everyone loves sales in the Brawl Stars shop, but not all of them are worth it, especially old skin sales. Sure, they only cost around 20 gems, but let's be honest, you're probably never going to use them. And even if you do, chances are you'll pull a better skin from your next star drop and instantly forget about that outdated one you just bought. So instead of falling for the old skin sale trap, just use those extra gems on upgrades if you really can't stand seeing them sit there.
This Spike shot was basically destined to become a meme. Just as two low health enemies pass by, Spike throws the perfect curveball and takes them both out at once, popping them like balloons. If you take a look at this Shelly, you can see she's running for her life, firing off her hypercharge and attacking in pure panic. But the terrifying threat chasing her down is Poco, just happily playing his guitar. Nerf Poco! You all know that little annoying Miko that's always chasing you around in matches? Well, he tried going after this bull, thinking he could actually take him down. He even used his super, dropped it aggressively, and jumped around like crazy, but then Bull just turned around and blasted him with one shotgun shot. Yeah, Miko should probably go back to Bloons TD. This Buzz Patrick is literally wearing the perfect skin for his skill level, because he might just be the worst hockey brawl teammate ever. The ball was rolling slowly toward him, and somehow he missed it completely, but it didn't stop there. It bounced again, headed straight for the goal, and Buzz missed again. The puck ended up sliding into the goal at basically 0 miles per hour.
Japanese players have a smart trick up their sleeves. Did you know that switching Brawl Stars to Japanese lets you see exactly how many gems you've bought? All you have to do is switch the game's language to Japanese, tap the info icon, and boom! Detailed stats on how many gems you've purchased, earned for free, and spent. How have I earned negative 10 gems? Here's a secret trick only YouTubers can do. If you've made it into Brawl Stars creator program, you can get free skins from Supercell. But if you bought a skin from the shop before claiming it as a reward, you would actually end up getting another copy of the skin after you've already claimed it. However, you won't be compensated for this duplicate. So what was the point? We all hate Shade. Let me show you how to counter him. When that sneaky ghost hides inside a wall, thinking he's untouchable, just pick a thrower. Use your projectiles to target the wall, and you'll still deal damage, taking him down with ease. BossBot might think he's the toughest enemy around, so here's a way to humble him. In the training grounds, Sprout can throw his super to push BossBot into a corner, where he'll actually teleport over the wall. Now, I know this doesn't do any damage, but come on, this is pretty fun. Supercell has no reason to add this idea to Brawl Stars. Now, when we think of progression inside the game, we either have Star Road, Star Drops, or Masteries. Well, what if instead of only having Masteries on Brawlers, we also had them on game modes we're playing? Not only would this open up so much space for progression, but it would be fun to have some titles that are related to specific game modes. Now I can finally prove I'm the #1 Brawl Ball player. If you played Brawl Stars in its OG days, then you would know that unbeatable nostalgic feeling of the older season. Because of that, players have suggested adding a version picker in custom games so you can relieve those older updates of the game. Not only would this let you bask in the nostalgia, but it would also give you access to some of Supercell's past mistakes, like when certain brawlers were just too overpowered. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Edgar. This battle card idea needs to be added, but the problem is not many people have unlocked all of the brawlers, and because of that, only a small group even has access to global, solar, or alien battle cards, which is why Supercell never even gave attention to making them customizable. However, for the top 0.1% of players, this would let them become way more intimidating.
You've probably had to grind ranked before, and it's always rough when you get stuck with bad randoms. But the absolute worst feeling is being just 12 points away from ranking up to something like Mythic, only to lose the next match and drop all the way down to Bronze. At this point, it's basically a canon event for every Brawl Stars player. Everyone loves when brawlers get released, but what's even better is grabbing them early from Star Road by forwarding credits during that limited time window. But the worst feeling, when you're just a little bit late and finally start grinding credits, only to realize you need way more than you thought. So you're like, fine, I'll just spend some gems to skip the grind. But then, boom, you're literally one gem short. One single gem. If this has ever happened to you, you already know. Your luck is actually cursed. Belle might be one of the best brawlers for pulling off rare trick shots, thanks to how her ammo bounces off walls. In one match of Gem Grab, a player randomly shot at a wall, only for the bullet to bounce off several others and somehow take out a penny on the other side. I bet you've seen some weird names in Brawl Stars before, but what probably never happened to you is sharing that weird name with your enemy. One player jumped into a normal match with the name I Hate Children, only to find their opponent named I Hate Kids. I guess we've got two teams to choose from now. Did you know you can deal 1 million damage in a single Brawl Stars match? Well, kinda. It's insanely hard to pull off, but YouTuber Sixwix actually managed to do it. He teamed up with two friends in Power League, and their plan was to keep tying Brawl Ball matches over and over again until they hit that crazy number. And the tricky part was, if they accidentally won or lost, they'd have to wait 6 whole weeks for the quest to show up again. So, after carefully picking their brawlers, they got to work. And after 16 drawn matches and over an hour and a half of grinding, they finally did it. Now that's some serious dedication. One of the funniest moments in Brawl Stars history has to be when Supercell added the Poop Spike skin. While Chinese Brawl Stars was getting high quality skins, global players got literal poop. But the best part isn't just Spike throwing poop in battles. It's his losing animation on the end screen where he actually poops. And with certain brawlers like BB standing next to him, it looks like she's pinching her nose because of the smell. Peak comedy. Everyone knows about the Juan Carlos 0 out of 11 kit meme, but it got even funnier when Supercell actually added his 0 out of 11 player icon in a new update. In the Pro Ranked Pass update, if you buy the pass, you can unlock an icon that literally memes his loss. Juan is probably even more scared to play Kit now that Supercell made his defeat official.
Did you know you can make Penny's turret shoot across the entire map? Of course, there's a trusty spyglass gadget for that, but you don't even need it. If you place your turret on top of a teleporter, it'll teleport while still targeting the enemies it locked onto before. This essentially turns your turret into a peekaboo machine, catching enemies completely off guard. Ruff might be the only brawler to deliver actual air support. If you use a jump pad with a teammate, you'll keep raising their max HP even while flying through the air. It's probably the only time in game you can heal mid-flight. Speaking of prototypes, did you know Shelly was supposed to have a pet chicken? In the early days, Shelly originally had a person following her around, but Supercell scrapped the idea because it felt a bit creepy. Instead, they came up with the concept of a pet chicken that would heal her during matches. And even though this chicken was a much better idea, Supercell ultimately decided not to include it in the game. Among the many early sketches for Project Laser, one stands out: a female version of Brock. Some players later nicknamed her Brockette since she had a rocket launcher and was essentially just a female counterpart to him. However, this concept eventually evolved into the Brock we know today, and many fans are probably still cursing Supercell for not letting us have a female version of Brock. If there was an award for the weirdest codename for a scrapped brawler, it would definitely go to Hook Dude. This character was designed with a super that could pull opponents toward him. Sounds familiar, right? But here's the twist. He used his scarf to do it. And guess who else rocks a scarf? Edgar. So maybe if Supercell had introduced Hook Dude and his scarf weapon, it's possible Edgar might never have existed at all. What a dream that could have been.
Have you ever wanted to see the Brawl Stars lobby without all those buttons? Well, thanks to this random glitch, you actually could. This bug would sometimes appear when loading into a casual or or even worse, a ranked match. Instead of showing the loading screen with the player count, it would just leave you stuck in the lobby with no buttons at all. As a bonus, you would receive a negative reputation in ranked. But hey, at least you got to admire the beautiful menu background without any brawlers in the way. Brawl Stars developers accidentally swapped these pins. When Supercell released the Mecha Gojira tick skins, they made a really weird mistake. Or should we call it a bug? The light Mecha Gojira skin has golden eyes, but its pin shows purple eyes, while the dark Mecha Gojira skin has purple eyes, but its pin shows golden eyes. T-poses are usually the kind of bugs you'd expect in low-budget games, and Brawl Stars is definitely not one of them, or at least it better not be,
considering how much we spend on gems.
but turns out that's not the case. When Buzz's Godzilla Hypercharge skin was released, activating Hypercharge didn't transform the skin properly, causing Buzz to go invisible while his supercharged variant just sat at the bottom of the screen doing a T-pose. With this bug, Brawl Stars was definitely giving off Gary's Mod vibes.
Most players think duels is the only mode without bots, but that's not entirely true. If you lose a few matches in duels and queue up again, you'll actually face a bot in your next match. Today, bots only appear for one round, but in the past, you could spam the play again button and keep facing bots endlessly. This let players rack up tons of trophies on their accounts with almost no effort. Man, I'm jealous. Who's faster, Carl or Mortis? Most of you probably said Mortis, but you'd be wrong. However, you can test this out by challenging your friend to a race and saying whoever wins gets gems. Then, all you need to do is use Carl's super and gadget to zoom past them and easily win the race. This is probably the best way to earn gems. Too bad when I tried it, I got scammed.